Hey everyone, Cricket Star Boy Tyrelle Audain back with another video. So guys, a few days ago, South African all-rounder Wiann Mulder recently made headlines for his famous triple century against Zimbabwe, which was achieved while captaining the Proteas for the first time in the absence of Kishab Maharaj, who was ruled out because of injury. Mulder's triple century, 369, was made at the Queen Sports Club in Bulwalo of 334 deliveries in the second test match against Zimbabwe. And in this remarkable innings, or should I say momentous innings, it became the highest score on captaincy debut. He became the first player in Test history to score triple hundred on debut as captain, surpassing Graham Dowland's previous record of 239. He also holds the record now for the highest individual Test score by a South African, surpassing Hashim Amla's 311 made against England in 2012. Also, it became the second fastest triple century of 297 deliveries, making it the second fastest in Test history, only behind Virender Sehwag's 278 ball effort. Also, at the age of 27 years and 338 days, he became the youngest captain in the history of Test cricket to score a triple hundred, breaking a 61-year-old record held by Australian great Bob Simpson. What also matters as well, it became the fifth highest overall test score, individual test score. And remarkably, a lot of people question the timing of the declaration in which South Africa declared on 626 for the loss of 5 wickets at the lunch interval on day 2 of the first test, opting to put the Proteas in a winning position rather than chasing Brian Lara's record of 400 not out, which was made against a top-class English bowling attack in 2004, which actually went on to win the Ashes in 2005, coincidentally. Now, Mulder was just 33 runs away from equaling this iconic milestone. There were a lot of reactions on social media and a lot of negatives as well. Just today, Chris Gayle on a podcast expressed his disapproval, stating that Mulder panicked and blundered by not chasing Lara's record. Now, let me stop right there and let me say why. Now, during the post match interview yesterday with former South African pacer Shaun Pollock, Mulder did explain why he opted not to go after Lara's record. He stated that he didn't want it to break Lara's record by he didn't want it to break Lara's 400 not out record by scoring it against minnows, which absolutely is 100% truthful and very respectful in my opinion. I'll get to the rest of what I have to say later on, but what Chris Gayle is saying here, in my opinion, is a bit pettiest, and I'll tell you why. He himself played under Lara's captaincy a couple of times, and let me be very honest, in that same series in which Lara scored the 400 not out, Gayle underachieved in that series. Out of all the 4 matches in the series, Gayle only scored one half century out of the 4 games, compared to Lara's two other teammates in Ridley Jacobs and Ramnir Sarwan, who were the top 4 run getters in that test series against England. And also, let me also add Devon Smith to the list too, because he was Gayle's opener in that series and he performed even way better than the universe boss. And why I'm saying this is because I actually watched that series live as an infant with my grandfather and my brother. And coincidentally, it was my grandfather who introduced me to cricket and picked up my first kit. What Wiann Mulder did in Bulwalo was not just an act of great sportsmanship. However, according to the old saying which says all records are meant to be broken, Plus, he also stated scoring 400 and breaking Lara's record against a very weak team would have meant he would have been trolled, would have meant, correction, let me just rephrase what I'm going to say. Had he had scored that, he also went on to state that going after Lara's record against a very weak team would have meant he would have been labeled as a flat track bully. That's what I meant. And let me say this: the pitches in Zimbabwe were very flat, and overall, it was suited for batting. The problem with Zimbabwean batters is they always inconsistent and they don't even perform. I don't even watch them play much like before, but they're worse than Bangladesh, West Indies, and even Sri Lanka these days. Even Sri Lanka from time to time would perform. But like I said, South Africa have come out with a different mindset of cricket, very similar to England's though with the baseball. But I'm not here to talk baseball. I'm here to commend Wiann Mulder becoming the 5th highest individual runs scorer in the history of Test cricket. And not only that, let me also put Chris Gayle in his place. He's the same one that scored 317, I think, under Shandapal's captaincy in 2005, and the 333 under Darren Sammy's captaincy. You may have performed in all your 100 Test matches for West Indies, but you were a great player overall. However, your comment about Mulder breaking Lara's record, I find was a bit pettiest, but it's your opinion and not mine, and I respect it. But like what I said, Mulder did it out of respect, because had he had scored it against a minnow team, he would have received major backlash. Had he had scored against a bigger team, he would have gotten all the accolades. That's all I have to say about Wiann Mulder and the 367. Hope you guys like this video. Make sure like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So until we meet again, guys, bye-bye.